Story 1. This story is told from the perspective of a female. I have a ton of stories, but this is the most recent. We have a shadow person living in our apartment. No idea how or why an apartment would be haunted, but my roommate and I have both seen the shadow on several occasions. For example, I was once in the shower and my roommate started screaming so loud I rushed to check on her. She said the shadow walked into the kitchen and came to the other opening and peered around the corner at her. And then it disappeared. Our cats will suddenly puff up and start hissing at nothing. Ellie's eyes will almost go pure black, staring just behind my right shoulder, and she will get very stiff if I try to pet her. Anyway, it's never really bothered us otherwise. I will see it in the hall at night sometimes when I go to the bathroom, and I've honestly just started saying hello and going about my business, even though I am internally freaking out. So this past week, my boyfriend was in town visiting. He is an early riser. I most definitely am not. So, when I woke up later that day, he asked if I had come to check on him in the bathroom. I had no recollection of doing so. Here is what he said. He was shaving at the sink when he started hearing tapping on the door. He said, "Yeah?" but no answer. The tapping continued, like someone was strumming their fingers on the door. He figured it was the dog brushing her tail against the door. Then someone tried to open it, but it was locked. He said, "Hello?" and he said he heard my voice say, "Are you in there?" He went over to unlock the door, but I was gone. He rinsed his face and came to the bathroom, and I was still sleeping in exactly the same position as when he had gotten up. Needless to say, he was pretty shook, but wouldn't admit it. Anyway, I'm kind of freaked out. This thing seems to be progressing. Anyone know how to get rid of it, or what it could possibly be? I joked that I was astral projecting, but I doubt that was it. Story 2. This story was written by another YouTube creator, Sinister Stories. As well as a link to the original story, I'll include a link to their channel as well. Okay, I've got a story I'd like to share with you. So my house has always been known for paranormal events. So much so, it had to be prayed for by a priest when I was younger. There was one event that took it over the edge, and that is what pushed us to make the decision of contacting religious authorities. So when I was younger, we only had one VCR in the house, which was always located in my parents' room. Whenever we wanted to watch a movie, we headed over to our large cabinet and picked out whatever movie we wanted to watch that day. I still remember to this day picking out my favourite movie throughout my childhood, which was Toy Story 2, and popping it into the VCR. It was around 6 or 7 at night, and my mum was making dinner in the kitchen. Now, some important info. My parents' room is separate from the rest of the house, since it is at the end of a long hallway. Keep that in mind. So about halfway through the movie, I hear something at the door of the room. I turn around and see my mother peeking in. I'm a little confused, and even though I can't see her mouth, I can tell she is smiling due to her cheeks being pushed up towards her eyes. I stare at her for a moment, thinking she is just being silly since she was a very fun-loving mother. She wasn't moving though. She just kept staring at me. I started to get a bit weirded out and sat up on the bed. At that very moment, she jumped in front of the doorframe. In full view, I could see her white shirt and brown shorts, and she posed in a sort of ta-da fashion, as if she just performed some magic trick. Note, she never stopped smiling. And suddenly, she runs away giggling. I was confused, as most kids would be, and ran towards the door and peeked into the hallway. But she wasn't there. The hallway is too long for her to have made it to the kitchen without me seeing her. Even if she ran at full speed, she could have probably only made it maybe halfway across from the time it took me to look into the hallway. So not knowing what was going on, I walked towards the kitchen to see what all that was about. I walked in on my mum, cooking still. She had a blue shirt on, with Tom and Jerry on it, pyjama pants, and an apron. There was just no fathomable explanation of how she could have got changed that fast and put on the apron before I got to the kitchen. I remember asking her, "Mum, why did you do that over in your room?" and getting this puzzled look from her. Now I know my mum. If she somehow managed to pull off this feat, then she would be smirking by now. But she didn't. She just stared at me. I explained to her what happened. She got this look on her face. Not really scared, but more like helplessness. It wasn't until a few years later that she told me that she got that look because she knew something was lurking around the house, and there was nothing she could do about it. This has haunted me for years. When a child is growing up, the person that he or she loves the most is usually their mother. She is usually our main form of love, and they nurture us and help us to grow into great individuals. Whatever it was, decided to pervert the image of the person I love the most, almost as if just mocking me, almost like it was trying to get me to fear my mum, to show me that nothing is sacred, not even my loved ones. This entity was around our house for years until we got the house prayed for, which was after this event. The entity would move things, or create shadows throughout the house that moved quickly. Everything was good for almost 10 years after the house prayers, until maybe 2 years ago, when things started happening again. Story 3. I had a dream where I'm walking through a forest. It's beautiful. It's sunny and warm, and I feel safe and happy. There are huge honeycombs hanging from the trees. I want the honey, but I can't reach it. A tall figure in black robes and hood comes to stand beside me. The figure is silent, and I feel like I know them. I'm not scared. I point at the honeycombs in the tree nearest us, and the figure uses a long scythe to slice through the honeycombs, coating the scythe blade in thick golden honey. They lower the blade, and I lick the honey off. As soon as I eat the honey, I am suddenly horrified. I wake up, but I can't move. I'm facing the doorway to my bedroom. There's a tall, thin figure in the doorway, just standing there. I feel like it's watching me. I can't move, and I'm absolutely terrified. Then our dog starts losing its mind, barking from the living room. The figure shoots away, like it's gone down the hallway. I can move again. I spent the rest of the night sitting in the living room with my dog with all the lights on. I've had slightly elevated anxiety ever since it happened. What was this thing? I am 28, and this is the first time I have ever experienced sleep paralysis, and I hope it never happens again. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my narration. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you didn't already, please help me out by subscribing to my channel, making sure you select the notification bell so you can be updated with all my uploads. I am aware my more recent videos are a bit shorter than the ones I've done in the past. I am reserving longer stories for my podcast Deliverers, which if you haven't checked out already, please click on the video description links to have a listen and subscribe on whatever platform suits you best. I am working on the official first season, which should be out later this year. Thanks again for watching.